The Belgian government, however, moved quickly to scrub these from the web as fast as possible. They claimed it was because certain people were mentioned who hadn't done anything, but were mentioned during the investigation, and that they didn't want them to come under any unjust scrutiny, but would lead many of us to speculate that there had to truly be something more. Given its picturesque views, stunning natural features, and the fact that it's a hub of both the EU and NATO, along with the facts exposed, have led many researchers to claim that Brussels is a hub for the elite, otherwise known as the New World Order. High-ranking officials, politicians, bankers, and businessmen stop in Belgium and just might take a trip to Château d'Arnois, or one of the region's many supposed satanic estates, to seal their deal and participate in one of the many rituals required to make them a success. One such person was a man by the name of Ronald Bernard, who claimed that the world's elite did indeed participate in these rituals because he himself was asked to do so. Bernard became a major player at the highest levels of finance, and details not only the world of the elite and what he was asked to do, but just who the elite truly are, and just how long this has been going on for. The entire interview is extremely interesting to say the least, and I urge you to watch it, linked down in the description below, once this video is over with. Here are several clips of his now infamous whistleblower interview.
The level I played it in those 5 years, and that didn't happen overnight. You need to earn your place. I am skilled at connecting the dots, information in order to achieve a full picture of all the things involved.
Op een bepaalde manier met elkaar te combineren.
Real world, since through the financial world you learn all of the actual truth.
So you say all, in what regard?
Well, your clients give you glimpses of how the world really works. In hindsight, I still didn't know everything, but I did know a lot. Because my clients were banks who didn't want blood on their hands. But within those banks there always is a number of people who know damn well what is going on. So, like 1% within a bank knows the truth of the matter regarding the happenings within the world, which is not surprising, considering they are involved in the flows of money. Those are your clients. You also have governments to deal with, multinationals, you have to deal with secret services, and what they now call terrorist organizations. You get all of the groups that are involved with the big money as clients. Then you start seeing the connections. So, they might be compartmentalized as you just mentioned, regarding knowledge. But because I am in the middle I see how they relate to another. You see the money coming from this place, then going to that place, etc. You keep gaining information and thereby an overview of what is really going on. But now what I do is about secret services. You think they are there to serve and protect the people, country, etc. But they actually turn out to be the criminal organizations, to be more precise. The system is heavily so. We are talking about financing wars, creating wars, so basically creating a lot of misery in this world. So, lots of conflict. And then I think to myself, if only people knew what the world is really like, secret services will stop at nothing. Nothing. But they also have their flows of money, because if they are trading in drugs or weapons or, for that matter, people, all that money has to go somewhere. Everything has to be financed.
You say if, but you could confirm they are doing this?
All of them. All of them. So the entire world as we think we know it is just an illusion we believe in. However, all those horrible things started to eat at me.
Can you give an example? Because I can sense a lot of terrible things happen to you.
Yes, it is difficult for me to talk about.
I can feel that, but only whatever you wish to share is alright.
Yes, I only talk about things I want to tell. But it does evoke lots of emotions, and with my conscience not being in the freezer, it touches me deeply.
Yes, I feel the same way. Alright. Can you tell me the worst thing that has happened that caused the tipping point in your situation?
Well, that was the beginning of the end. You get so deep into these circles. And you sign a lifetime contract, not with blood or anything, to never disclose names of companies, organizations or people. I think that is why I am still alive. You have to put it carefully, most of these people followed not very mainstream religion. So, you have Catholics, Protestants, all sorts of religions. These people, most of them, were Luciferians. And then you can say, religion is a fairy tale, God doesn't exist, none of that is real. Well, for these people, it is truth and reality. And they served something immaterial, what they called Lucifer. But then at some point, I was invited, which is why I'm telling you all this, to participate in sacrifices. Abroad. That was the breaking point. Children.
You were asked to do that?
Yes, and I couldn't do that. Unfortunately, the truth is that worldwide they have been doing this for thousands of years. I once studied theology, and even in the Bible you find references to these practices with Israelites. The reason the first 10 tribes were banished to Babylonia was because of these rituals with children, including the sacrificing of children. So this is pertinent. All this made me believe, because I realized there was more to life than meets the eye. There is a whole invisible world. It is real. You reach later. In all those studies and discoveries, I found a document which they are claiming is bullshit, of course, the Protocols of Zion. And nowadays I recommend everyone to read the whole of that incredibly boring document. Just work through it, read it though.
We are also talking about Zionism.
Yes, of course. If you read the Protocols of Zion, and really study them and understand, then it is like reading the newspaper of the daily life. How from their position of ultimate power and ultimate it has literally become. But that is only because the people don't stand up for themselves. They don't realize what reality is.
After detailing what he had experienced from beginning to his crash and rise out of the proverbial ashes, Ronald Bernard thought he was finally free of his former life. He eventually would go on to marry a woman and move to the United States. But his story would unfortunately end here. In August of 2017, Bernard, who had been living in Florida with his wife, went missing after he went on a walk on a nature trail shortly after 1 p.m. near his home. He called 911 around 3:46 p.m., seeming distressed and stating that he was lost. Although many attribute this to possible dementia, Bernard had no medical history of this condition and had showed no prior signs. Between his initial phone call and 6:13 p.m., he phoned the authorities several more times and told them that he was being followed and that his life was in danger. Through pinging his cell phone, authorities sent several search units, canines, and a helicopter to the area. Bernard was then found floating face down at approximately 8:24 p.m. in a shallow stream of water. His cause of death has yet to be revealed. It has long since been speculated that the world's aristocracy worships an unseen force, one of complete darkness that will do anything and everything to destroy what it perceives as a threat. Many of these high-ranking officials are seemingly above the law. At the 1988 Republican National Convention, as loyalists waved their flags and cheered the man who accepted their party's nomination for president and would later win.
And my friend, President Ronald Reagan, I accept your nomination for president. From the cities to the suburbs to the loneliest town on the quietest street, to take our message of hope and growth for every American, to every American. I will keep America moving forward, always forward, for a better America, for an endless, enduring dream and 1,000 points of light.
He would later go on to reference 1,000 points of light again during his presidential inauguration speech.
I've spoken of 1,000 points of light.
He then would continue to make numerous references to the New World Order.
We have before us the opportunity to forge, for ourselves and for future generations, a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Most Americans have no clue what this phrase meant, but researchers have since decoded it. Inside the Mothers of Darkness castle, there's a special ceremony room reserved for the highest levels of the elite's rituals. It is a spectacular room with a domed ceiling, which contains 1,000 points of light. Among these researchers were many former high-ranking Satanists themselves. One such person is a man by the name of Stephen Dollins, and this is what he had to say in regards to the reference made by the former president.
But nobody bothered to question that. And he said that at least 4 to 6 times. I talked to a lady just recently in Baltimore. She came up right after the meeting in Baltimore, and she came up and she said, everything that you said tonight, I can verify. She said, because I was George Bush's campaign manager. And she proved it. She pulled out the campaign manager badge that she had when she was campaign manager when he was going for presidential election. And she said, I was there the night that he made that address. And she says, now I understand what that meant. Because she said, I looked at George and I said, after he stepped off the platform, I said, George, I don't know about that New World Order thing. She said, but I want to be a part of that 1,000 points of light. And she said, he grabbed her by the shoulder, looked her sternly in the face and said, I have no control over that.
Did H.W. Bush and many former presidents visit a place such as Chateau des Armois to help achieve their Did H.W. Bush and many former presidents visit a place such as Chateau des Armois to help achieve their status? Testimonies such as these certainly make us think that they did. People over the years who have managed to get close to the castle have spotted numerous spy devices, booby traps, and tripwires. One such man, who apparently saw that the gate was open and was visiting the area with his girlfriend and another friend, had sent his girlfriend up to knock on the door in an attempt to provoke an interaction. The gate then closed, with her still inside. After an hour of fruitlessly trying to contact those within the walls, the young man went to the Belgian authorities, who, after reaching out to the occupants of the castle, said that they had claimed they had never seen or heard from the couple before. That woman was never seen or heard from again. Some other rumors that are worth mentioning are that there's a series of tunnels that connect Mothers of Darkness to other locations throughout Belgium for the transport of people for multiple purposes, although no one has come forward with proof of this in particular or has lived to be able to do so. History provides us with a terrifying glimpse into the past, from psychopaths such as Vlad the Impaler to the Rothschilds and many more. We have numerous examples of the elites manipulating people for their own nefarious reasons and worshipping an unseen sinister force. Is there truly a malevolent darkness that runs this world and seeks to destroy all light within it? Is there truly such a thing as the Illuminati? These questions and more are all up to your interpretation. But one thing is for certain. There is a darkness that surrounds Chateau des Armois, as well as numerous mysteries as thick as the fog that surrounds the forest it dwells in.